All right, we're going to get started with our post-race media availabilities for today's Hellmans 500. We are joined by Austin Dillon, the driver of the number 3 American Ethanol Chevrolet. Austin, 9th place finish here, but unfortunately the tiebreaker in the chase standings didn't quite work your way. Talk a little bit about that and your first chase experience.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking, obviously. You need a spot, and it comes down to 3 1,000ths, I think, between the 43 cars. So I'm just proud of this team. We made it a full another round and thought we were going to make it another one, and it didn't work out for us. But thanks to our partners, Dow, American Ethanol, everybody. I don't think we had it today to really mix it up front. We might have waited a little too long. We tried to get track position one time, but it didn't work out. So I put my car in the places I thought it would work the best. There was that last lap and a half, and my teammates stuck with me, so I'm proud and thankful for them. It just missed it by a spot.
All right, we'll open up to questions here for Austin. Raise your hand. We'll get a wireless mic. We'll start with Jenna.
Jennifer, AP. Austin, what was the intent on the final laps? Was it just to get as many positions? Were you watching Denny? Did that matter?
No, I just tried to get as many spots as I could. Pulled out at the line and gained a few, but man, it just perfect storm kind of. It was working out really good in the middle of the race when 78-2 kind of fell out, and then we made it to where we needed to with just a green-white checkered, and we're up there in the pack and teammates behind us, and we weren't able to pull it off, but it was close, and I got to thank the teammates that helped me out, though.
Any additional questions for Austin? We'll go to the back.
Austin, Stan Creekmore with Outside the Box. Does this make you even more determined over the final 4 races to get the best possible finishes you can, to finish the highest you've ever done in the points?
Oh, yeah. We want to finish, I think the highest we can finish is 9th, and we're probably sitting there right now. So 4 tracks left, and just want to finish in the top 10 in points. Obviously, that would be very great. And if we can do that, that'd be successful. But it sure stinks to miss it by a tiebreaker going on to the next group of cars. So, but I'm thankful for the opportunity that I've been given, and we'll keep working.
We'll go to Kenny Bruce.
Kenny Bruce with NASCAR.com. Austin, you mentioned teammates working with you. How much help were they? I mean, was it a situation where without them you wouldn't have been in the shape you were in? Or
they did a good job. Top restarts were worth a few positions, and had to restart on the bottom, and I was going to try and wedge my way up, and I did it, but I got put 3 wide, and took a few laps, and the 31 dove in behind me. 31 helped a ton today. He was glued to my back bumper those last couple laps. That was really nice, and it was interesting race for sure, to say the least.
Do we have any final questions for Austin? All right, Austin, thanks for joining us this afternoon. Good luck with the rest of the season.
Thank you.
We are going to continue with our media availabilities for today's Hellmans 500 here at Talladega Superspeedway. We are joined by our second-place finisher, Brian Scott, the driver of the number 44 Goody Ford. Brian, your best career NASCAR Sprint Cup Series finish. Talk a little bit about that and those final couple laps after the restart.
It was just a solid day for the number 44 Goody Ford. We had a team meeting before the race. We knew that we were going to have to be perfect. We were going to have no mistakes on pit road. Going to have a fast Ford, keep good track position all day, and try to make friends throughout the race so they'd work with us at the end. And our game plan really just was executed really well. The guys did a great job on pit road. We had a really solid car. Roush 8's engines were amazing today. Able to show our speed to a lot of the field. And when it came down to the finish or the restart there at the end, lucky enough to have Denny Hamlin and some guys work with us to give us an opportunity at the win.
Great. We will now open up to questions for Brian. Raise your hand. We'll get a wireless mic to you. Go to Stan and then to Kenny.
Brian, Stan Creekmore with Outside the Box. What does this finish mean to you for the rest of this season and looking into next year?
Well, a good finish always helps. It helps with the team. It helps with the guys at the shop, the morale. Just trying to get any bit of a bright spot in this year has been difficult, and I think that this is by far the brightest spot that we've had in a really challenging 2016 year for Richard Petty Motorsports. I don't know. I guess the results and what this does for us going forward is yet to be determined. But just proud. I mean, the guys have worked hard all year. They've deserved a lot better finishes than we've given them. And just proud to deliver a good, solid top 5, to do my job behind the wheel, to give us a shot at the win. Just have a good day for Richard Petty Motorsports.
We'll go to Kenny.
Kenny Bruce with NASCAR.com. Brian, are you surprised guys didn't just gang up on you and dump you there at the end? I mean, not having raced with you and thinking, you know, this guy's not going to be up here. We're going to use him up.
Well, I knew at the end. I was
teammate I had.
I was thankful to have Denny. I don't know if playing golf with him occasionally helps or not, but
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, that's always a fear of mine. When you have a yellow sticker on your bumper, normally people avoid you like the plague. They go elsewhere. And there's a lot of opportunities. I felt like guys tried to do it, and had a great spotter in Stevie Reeves. Was able to block and do the right things to keep our Goodies Ford with good track position towards the front. And lucky, I don't know, maybe because this is an elimination race, it changed the way Denny raced at the end, but he gave me a great push and gave me an opportunity to get a run at the 22. I just, I probably didn't do everything I was supposed to get a strong enough run or back away from him as much as I could have, and just couldn't get to his quarter panel. But it was exciting there at the end, and yes, I felt like at any moment somebody was going to try to hang me.
Do we have a final question for Brian? All right, Brian, well, thanks for joining us. Congratulations on the race.
Thanks, guys.
And as you can see, we are also joined by our third place finisher in today's race, Denny Hamlin, the driver of the number 11 FedEx Ground Toyota. And more importantly, Denny, you held the tiebreaker and you now move on to the round of 8 here in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's we needed some things fall our way. If we didn't win the race, and today things fell our way, and then the last lap we went out and earned it. So it's just I think back all the years that I've been doing this. Honestly, in 11 years, and of course, you always remember about all the bad beats that you have, but you never remember when you rivered somebody. But for me, I really truly believe this is the first really great fortune that we had in a chase in my 11-year career. So things just happened well for us. We went out there and we did our jobs. It was very tough to be able to run against guys that had a lot of teammates up front. I knew that was going to be a problem for us all day, but we were able to have just enough there at the end to get past the 41 and get in.
All right, we'll open up to questions. We'll start up here with George and then go to Tom.
Denny, over here to your left, George Diaz with the Orlando Sentinel. I know everybody's counting points, but was it at all logistically possible for you to figure out that all you had to do was stay there to get the spot?
I didn't, that's probably why I was a little indecisive off of turn 4 when the 41 was coming to make a move on the high side. I wasn't sure whether I needed to finish third. I told them I didn't want points updates, but that's almost when I probably should have got one to figure out what I was going to do. But the 3's in the middle of the pack, and so he's fighting and getting positions. He could change 2 positions in the last 100 yards, so you can't really predict it. So I knew I just had to try to finish as good as I could, and I just somehow was able to hang on to third right there. I know the 4 definitely cut me a break when I was trying to get back down on the bottom line. So it like I say, it was just I knew that if I finished inside the top 5, we had the tiebreaker with the 3. I did know that information, but I didn't know where Austin was in the field.
We'll go to Tom and then upstairs to the press box.
Hey, Denny, Tom Jensen, FoxSports.com. 4 Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota is advancing to the top 8, the round of 8. You guys have not won any of the 6 chase races, though, but you've got Martinsville, which is one
That
of
will
your
change
strongest
next week.
tracks.
Yeah.
How do you assess your chances to go all the way?
Pretty good. We all know that Martinsville is where I've made my career for the most part. So I feel very confident we can go there and do great things. And my teammates are all going to be strong there. They were in the spring. So it's new life for us. I mean, we're on house money at this point. Honestly, the cards were stacked against us before we entered the day, and now we're moving on, and we got a clean slate. So I'm looking My focus will be on Martinsville solely this week, and then after that, we'll go to Texas and try to do that. So it's just week to week for us at this point, but obviously we have to go out here and perform at a high level if we want to make it to Homestead.
We'll go upstairs to the press box and then get Kenny.
Reed Spencer with NASCAR Wire Service. Denny, with the strategy today being that your three teammates dropped to the rear and stayed there basically for the whole race, did you feel like you were sort of out on an island today, and did that make it tougher for you to get as far front as you did?
Yeah, and I knew that strategy was going to be in play. I mean, obviously, when you have three guys that realistically just don't need to wreck to get in, and you have one that needs to go out there and almost win to get in, you can't sacrifice the three guaranteed spots that you got to try to get one more in. That would just be bad gamesmanship, and Coach knows a little better than that. I think he's coached a few things before. So it was on me to go out there and do it. I mean, I had a few friends out there today, a lot of them that probably had manufacturer or team alliances that they broke, and I won't say their names to get them in trouble, but they were very, very loyal to me today, and that paid dividends for us all day for sure. So I just counted on my buddies to help me, and hope that you've earned some respect from some of those guys when they had to make a choice whether they were going to push you or somebody else, and luckily we had the right pushes when we needed them.
We'll go to Kenny.
Kenny Bruce with NASCAR.com. Denny, what do you think the fans think about when they see guys out there that have won multiple races this year ride around at the back all day like that?
It's just product of the format. I mean, it's really you still got 35 cars out there racing their guts out, and so there was really no big wreck today. So they had more cars racing at the end than what they would on a regular weekend. So I think that they definitely got their money's worth, especially those last 50 laps. Everyone was dicing it up pretty good. So it's just part of this format. Anytime you have an elimination race, what happens in those first two races sets the tone for what the guys are going to do in the third race. And so they had built their cushion. They'd done their jobs well the first two, and they had the liberty to do that. And so they played it smart, and it's all about championship. It's not about coming out here and winning Talladega for those guys.
We'll go to Holly.
Holly Kane, NASCAR.com. Denny, it's kind of a follow-up to that. Did you know going into the that that's the way it was going to be?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, we talked about it on Tuesday of this week, and we talked about it after qualifying. We all knew that those guys were going to ride in the back no matter what. So I knew, the only situation is if there was a big wreck, they were going to come up there and try to help late in the day, but there never was. They never really got locked in fully. So, it was up to me.
We'll go over to Jenna.
Jennifer AP, so JGR's got 4 of the 8 slots. How do you guys approach that as a team? Because all 4 of you likely want to move on to the next round.
Yeah, we do, but what got us to this point is teamwork, and so you got to just keep doing the things the same as you were before. The likelihood. We'd love to have all 4 of our cars racing at Homestead. We're going to have to all race phenomenally to do that. Things happen. Things are going to happen in these next 3 races, but we've done a great job of surviving and advancing. Even though those guys didn't have great first 2 races of this segment, everyone else just stepped on their toes too much, and it gave them an opportunity to be conservative today. So it's just with this format, it really is survive and advance. You really are points racing under this type of format. Anytime you have such a small sample size and you're going to eliminate the bottom 4 in points, it's going to be points racing. So this format is tough from a racer standpoint. That we go out here and we run 26 weeks, and it can come down to just one silly thing that look at the 78. Blown motor took him out. All the great things he did this year, and he's not going to be racing. So it's very tough to really crown the grand champion in just these 2 and 3 and 1 race formats. But it's very, very exciting from a fan standpoint because look at what we had today. 2 cars tie. So, you want action. It's these last 10 races. It provides it for sure.
We'll go to Dustin.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Denny, this race moves to the second race in the round next year, so it's not a cutoff. Will that help the points racing mentality and riding in the back, or would it be better to make this the first? Or as long as a plate race is in the chase, that's always going to be an option, and that may be the smart move?
It will change the dynamic a little bit. Being the second race, it for sure will entice those guys to race all day, I think. But obviously, anytime you go to a super speedway, the likelihood of there being more than 25 cars on the lead lap is very unlikely. So anybody with a buffer of more than that is going to race in the back, always. But being the second race, I think that there's no guarantees. So I think it will change the dynamic for sure. But there's just going to be people that want to run in the back and be safe and conservative. It's just that's the way they want to play the game, and everyone can play it how they want. It's just you got to get to the checker flag in time. If you don't, you're going to find yourself out.
We'll go to Stan.
Denny, Stan Kriegman with Outside the Box. Today's race, in comparison to races over the past couple of years, looked intense every single lap that was under the green. Is that the way you see it and felt throughout the entire race?
It was from my standpoint, only because I was just fighting all day to try to keep my car up front. Nobody was really content. That last fuel run, there was about 7 or 8 of us on the bottom that was content to ride right there till the end and then make a move. But, it was tough from my seat. But for some other guys, they were able to keep track position all day because they always had a teammate pushing them. We didn't have that, so it was a little bit more adventurous for us, and especially, I had that pit, I was come sped on pit road trying to get more on entry. So it was a more eventful day than what I wanted, but I honestly wouldn't have it any other way.
Do you have any final questions for Denny? All right, Denny, well,
Thanks.
Congratulations on advancing to the next round. We are going to continue
Everything's
with
bigger in Talladega.
today's Postmates media availabilities for the Hellmans 500 here at Talladega Superspeedway. We are joined by members of our race-winning team. The driver was Joey Logano on the number 22 Shell Pennzoil Ford. We were joined by the crew chief, Todd Gordon, and by the car owner, Roger Penske. Gentlemen, 2 years in a row winning this race, and this time it gets you into the round of 8. Why don't you each talk a little bit about that?
Super proud of everybody on the Shell Pennzoil team. Didn't exactly have the race car that had enough speed to start the race, and we kept working on it. And had a little mishap with Jack there, first pit stop. Unfortunately, got a chance to get back and get it cleared up. It wasn't any damage to the race car, and guys did a great job. Cycled us out, got us to lead there later on a pit stop cycle, and Joey did a great job driving forward. And proud of everybody at Team Penske and the race cars they put forward. Obviously, Brad had a lot of speed today, and we had it there at the end when we needed it. So just proud of everything there.
Well, I think it was really Ford won today when you think about it. The way the cars ran, it was no question that Roush Yates gave us some strong motors. I think we had great cars. We've had them here the last few races. But, to see the way the guys worked together, you saw many laps. They ran 1, 2, 3, just grinding down laps was kind of our plan. I see Gibbs had a plan in the back. We had a plan in the front because we knew we had to run up front in order to get ourselves in the next round. And it was really tough on Brad. I mean, he really had a good car and, led 90 laps, probably as dominating as I've ever seen anyone here. Could just drive right up to the front. And I think the things that these crew chiefs passed together, they were able to make a few changes on Joey's, and he came right up when it was time to go. So, as Todd said, it was a real team effort, and certainly the guys back at the shop that put these cars together was amazing. And the pit crews didn't make any mistakes, no speeding on pit lane, because you can see track position today was at a premium. And I think I never saw our guys back probably more than 4 or 5 spots from the front. That made a difference there when we got to the end.
All right, we will open up to questions for Todd and Roger. Raise your hand. We'll start up here with Tom. and then we'll go to Jenna.
Hey, Roger, Tom Jensen, FoxSports.com. Congratulations on
Thanks.
the victory today. You're going up, you're going to have to face in the chase Gibbs, who you mentioned, who has 4 wins, and Stuart Haas, who has 2 wins. How does the fact that you guys have 1 car in the chase against 4 and 2 complicate things or make your strategy?
Well, they got more to lose than I do, I guess. They've got 4. Look, it's going to be tough as we get into the next round, and we go to Texas. We certainly have Phoenix and Martinsville, 3 different tracks. And look, we feel good about how we run there, and you're going to have to execute. And to me, there's everyone that's in this chase. From the standpoint, Truex was a real threat to everyone, and the fact that he's not in and Brad is in, you take a couple of real guys that could win, and I think that, it's a level playing field. We got some Toyotas, we got some Chevys, and we got a Ford. So, we're satisfied where we are, and I think that we need to get through what happened last year at Martinsville and get some good success there so we can move on, hopefully, to the next round.
We'll come up front to Jenna.
I have 2 questions. The first is for Todd, piggybacking off of that. Is it detrimental to you at all that you're the lone wolf out there, the lone Ford in that final 8?
I don't think so. I think the great part about Team Penske is we really operate as one team with multiple cars, and the effort is no less because it's 1 and not 2. I think when you watched, if you looked at last year, once Brad got bumped out last year, they came back and were on terror. So there's no letdown in Paul and Brad and the whole Miller Lite team. They'll focus forward on making speed, which will challenge us and help us build a better notebook. Actually, I think in ways it's not a negative and maybe a positive because we're that much more open to each other. It was a tough weekend to come here because we were both out of the top 8. And we both needed something to be successful, and we kind of knew what it was, and we worked together. But going forward, it's all about just wins and success, and the whole team will continue the path that they've been on.
And Roger, how did you start today? Did you think no matter what, you're only getting 1 car through? Were you thinking that there was a way to get both cars through?
Well, obviously when you looked at the statistics, it was going to be difficult to get 2. Something had to happen to Truex, and it happened early. And if, Brad would have won and Joey would have finished up, I think, up first or second or third, I think we got both cars in. But, you never know. We just had to race. The one thing that we sat around the table and talked about the race weekend, and we said we got to race every single lap, and I think we showed you that that's what we did. We didn't hang back. We ran every single lap. And, as far as, thinking about 1 car, the good news is you don't have 4 people that you're trying to work with, as we go into the chase. We can put all our efforts, on 1 car, and Joey, and of course Brad is one of the biggest supporters on the team of Joey, so I think that's will pay dividends for us.
I'll go to Stan.
Stan Creekmore outside the box. This is for both of you. How deep did you hold your breath over those final 2 laps? Given that Brad was out and he needed to win badly.
It's like we do every time we're in the lead with only a few laps to go. Anything can happen. Certainly, I didn't like to see Bowman shooting down across the start-finish line there. But look, Harvick, we owe him a huge vote of thanks. Joey does for the big shove, and certainly Scott on the restart before, because it got us out in front. And once we got in front, they didn't really have any speed to catch us. So it really, I thought it was going to be probably more of a jumbled up mess than it was. I think it was pretty calm when you think about those 2 restarts.
Yeah, and to build off of that, I'd even go back to the 2 restarts earlier in that thing. Ryan Blaney did a great job of giving us a push and helping us to secure the lead again. He did a great job at kind of being 1 Ford and helping the whole cause and understanding what he could do to help. And I think he and Brian Scott did a great job, and Kevin worked with us through a long run of keeping guys with discipline that we could get ourselves out there.
Do we have any final questions for Todd and Roger? All right, gentlemen, congratulations on the win and advancing to the round of 8.
Thank you.
We are going to wrap up our media availabilities for today's Hellmans 500 here at Talladega Superspeedway. We are joined by our race winner, Joey Logano, the driver of the number 22 Shell Pennzoil Ford. Joey, this is your second win and 22nd top 10 finish this year. But more importantly, this win moves you on to the round of 8 in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. So talk a little bit about that.
It feels really good. You know, this morning you kind of wake up and you're like, oh, what's going to happen? You know, this is the first time in this chase format that I've come into Talladega without a win to be locked into the next round. So the feeling of the weekend is definitely a lot different when you know you're not locked into the next one. So it felt really good to be able to go out there and you know, work under the pressure that was on us this week and ultimately be able to succeed and come home with a victory. So what a special win. Winning here at Talladega is always special. It's a lot of fun, and you never know you got it until you're coming off or you don't even know you got it even off a turn 4. So many things that can happen before the start finish line. So it's nice to be able to move on to the next round. That was a great feeling for about, I don't know, 20 minutes, and now we're thinking about Martinsville already and how we're going to go out there and try to get ourselves to Homestead to win the championship.
All right, we'll open up to questions for Joey. Raise your hand, and we'll get a wireless mic. We'll start over here with Jeff in the middle.
Joey, even though you won all 3 races in this round last year, in some ways it seems like you're in better position this year because you won, you're going through the next round, and you haven't made anybody mad. Do you think that will actually? I mean, seriously, will
I was wondering where you were going with that, but that's funny.
Will that make a difference? I mean, does that put you in better position this year than last year?
No, well, I hope so. I guess. You know, I mean, really, in all honesty, you're back to a wash, right? When you move on to the next round. So I feel like this team's got a lot of momentum. You know, and I think we had a lot of momentum at this point last year, but I think we got equal amount. If you look at it, Charlotte, yeah, we had a tire go out, but we had a fast race car there. We finished 3rd last weekend and win this weekend. We're going to a racetrack that we've proven to have speed before. We haven't won there yet, but we've had speed there, speed that's capable of winning. So I feel good about our chances. I feel good about where we're at in this thing to be able to move on. So, yeah, we got speed, we got momentum, we got confidence. So let's go.
Come here to Tom. Right behind you, Tom.
Hey, Joey, Tom Jensen, FoxSports.com. Does it bother you at all that 3 of the guys who are going to be racing in the chase just basically cruise to the back of the field all day?
I don't care what other people do. In all honesty, I got to worry about what I did. Yeah, they had their strategies to get through. We knew that our strategy was to go out there and lead laps and win. That's how we race. We've said that last couple of years when we come in here with a win, and we're going to race the same way because we know that works for us. You know, but you know, who's to say if we came in here with a 20-something point cushion how we would race? I don't know. I think I'd go out there and try to race for a win too, but you know, it doesn't bother me. It's strategy, right? Everyone has their own. But yeah, I mean, hey, I guess it worked out for them, and ours worked out for us. So everybody's happy. Thanks.
We'll come up here to Bob.
Bob Hockers, ESPN. A little bit on that note, were you cognizant of that and knew that Denny might have a hard time making a move to catch you because all his teammates were in the back? And also, Kyle said next year, with this being the 2nd race, that strategy probably you won't be able to do that strategy because you're going to need to dig for every point. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You know, it's definitely going to change it up the way this race is played out. So I think that's a good thing. You know, and kind of go into the next race and kind of know what you have to do kind of makes you feel a little bit better than coming into here and knowing what you have to do is kind of, I guess, nerve-wracking. But, yeah, I mean, for me, I knew my situation. You know, I studied the points. I looked at it and kind of knew who I had to beat and what would happen if a certain driver won and what I had to do. And, you know, it seemed like there right after the first pit stop, kind of everything changed up. You know, we were coming down pit road and we took the Jack with us. I'm like, oh boy, this isn't going the way we planned. And then next thing you know, the 78 blew up, and you're like, well, that's going to help us some. And that was the caution we needed to stay on the lead lap after making an extra pit stop. So all that kind of I don't want to say worked out, but it kind of helped us along, and it made me feel a little bit better that our chances to get to the next round. But there's a lot going through your mind, a lot more than just going out there and thinking about winning. You're thinking about, okay, where's this guy at? What situation am I in? And you try to make your decisions based off of that, which is not the way I'm used to racing, but I kind of had to at certain points.
I'll go in the back.
Thanks. Doug Turnbull, WSB Radio. Kind of on that note, since you and Brad were in similar positions, slightly different points, how is it going to play out at the end there with you guys running nose to tail with Blaney coming down to it? Did you meet beforehand and decide one of us needs to win more than the other, or at that point were you so close that it didn't matter?
Yeah, it was close. I felt bad for Brad. I think he had the fastest car. There's times that if he did get shuffled out, he drove back to the lead, and it's like, wow, and for a long time, I can drive up to fifth, and I just get stuck. And it's like, I can't get any further forward. And he had a very good car, and unfortunately, he got some garbage, which made his motor retire. But yeah, that's a tough one. But in the case of us racing at the end, we're gonna race like we normally do. We're gonna help each other as much as we can, and we're gonna race each other because it's a race. I think we didn't really even have to talk much about it because we kind of knew our situations.
Do we have any final questions? Over here on the side.
Yeah, hi. Do you recommend dragging a jack for a lap as a good race strategy?
No.
Okay. How does that happen, and then how do you overcome it?
I don't know how it happened. I know when you're trying to bust off, 10.5-second pit stops that, you push things as much as you can. I know speedway cars are a little bit different. I don't know if that had something to affect with the raised ride heights when you come to these speedways, but I didn't even know it for the longest time. I went out on the racetrack, and with the raised heights, you don't really realize that the jack's still under there until you get to the corner and the car compresses a little bit. And my crew chief Todd said, "Hey, you've got the jack with you." And I'm looking around, looking in the mirror, and I didn't really see it. And then I looked to the left of me, and I saw the jack post like at my head. And I was like, I don't need that. So I tried to shake it off, couldn't do that. And we had to come back down pit road. And maybe a good thing and maybe a blessing that we didn't lose it because, you run that thing over, that could have done a lot of damage to our race cars. So, like I said, we got the caution, and it ultimately was okay. But, yeah, we're going to have to buy a new jack next week. But it's nice to know that we have a world record of fastest jack underneath a race car. So, but I was proud of the way my team recovered. They came back through at the end, had some good pit stops, which ultimately gave us the lead, and then we were able to hold us off. So my team did a good job and being able to recover from that little mishap.
And we'll take our final question from Jenna.
Oh boy.
Joey, are you any different, either yourself or your approach or your attitude, from this point last year where you were flying through the rounds but didn't probably understand the issue that you had lurking ahead the next week, to now when you had to win today almost or be very good and everything's not so crystal clear?
As a person, you always grow, or you hope to grow every day. You hope to rest your head at bed every night and say, well, I learned this today and I'm going to be better tomorrow. I feel like I'm better today than I was yesterday, and I feel like I should be. It's the only way you become better, and the only way you stay successful, because you'll get caught up and passed before you know it. But, I learned some valuable lessons last year. I learned a whole new level that I didn't know I had, which was really cool. And now I know how to reach that level mentally inside a race car to, really make things happen and be a great leader for my team. And, there's a lot of things like that I took out of last year that I feel like, I don't think of anything as a waste of a season. You always learn something from something. So, today, this weekend I went through a different situation, being a do-or-die spot. But in all honesty, I kind of thought back to a couple years ago when we were in Homestead, and that's a do-or-die spot. We were down there racing for a championship, and I thought, well, this is just like Homestead a couple years ago. And I learned a lot from that weekend on how I would handle it if I got put in that situation again, and that was today. And it's fun to be able to succeed under that. So hopefully we can take some of the things that we learn and about yourself personally as much as anything, and about your race team, to be able to move on and go to Homestead.
A sort of follow-up, Do you, last year, eliminate the whole thing with Kenseth, but it just based on the way you ran in the second round, you almost had like a bullseye on your back. You were the guy to beat. Do you think that you're much quieter and under the radar right now?
I think we're a little bit more under the radar than we were last year. We didn't win 3 races in a row, but I think we've had 3 really good race cars in this round. And like I said earlier, Charlotte, we had a car that I think we could have won with. It was really good. It's easy to say that when you crash out, but I thought it was a car that I could have won with, or at least give them a run for it. Kansas, we had a good enough race car to finish 3rd. And they come here and win. So we got momentum. We have speed. Like I said, we have a lot of confidence for that reason because we know we can do it. We know we can go to these next couple of races, and they're good racetracks for us. All 3 of them are. So we know we just got to go out there and fight and do what we know how to do. We don't need to change anything. We just got to keep the intensity up and keep realizing that we like the pressure. I think that we're better under pressure, and that's kind of our motto this year, and that we can fight under those situations, and we know how to do that. So, like I said, I look forward to those moments. I look forward to this weekend.
We're actually going to have one more final question from Jim Utter.
Jim Utter, Motorsport.com. I know the optimum scenario would have been for you and Brad to advance to the next round, but given how good you both have, and particularly him this season, do you feel it's an advantage to have his help going into the final 4 races, and any doubt in your mind that he'll do whatever, and that team will do whatever they can possibly do to help your cause down the stretch?
Yeah, I think Team Penske does a good job at being a team, right? It's in our name. we better, and this is a shot for a championship on the 50th anniversary. The IndyCar guys did it. We know that. We got a shot with the Xfinity car and the Owners' Championship, and we still got a shot here in the Cup car. So we're going to keep, working hard at that. But, yeah, Brad and I have always been great teammates. We've worked well together. The 2 teams work really well together. We've shown that on speedways here at Talladega before, and I think that model will keep being shown throughout the next few races and trying to push through to get Roger a second championship. So we'll keep working on that. But, he also has a lot to race for still. You know what I mean? You can still finish up there in points, throughout the end of the season. So, and he's got a fast race car. So knowing Brad, he's still going to want to win. I don't blame him. But I think that also will help us along, just like they were when they were in these rounds.
All right, Joey, congratulations and good luck in the round of 8.
Great. Thank you, guys.